Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. So on today's video we are going to talk about specifically about the War of the Kingdoms event, a personal favorite event that we have in the game. It happens around once a month, and to put it on the general terms, it puts two kingdoms to fight for the win. Of course, there are many things that we have to consider for this event. It's not just as simple as two kingdoms fighting for the win. And on this video we are going to talk about the rewards that you can get as a solo player, the rewards that you can get as an alliance, and of course some additional rewards that are hidden from the token shop, for example, or the ranking rewards. How can you effectively get your personal points, and how you can get the most out of your War of the Kingdoms, or of course how is most usually called KVK. So going into the rules page for the KVK event, we can pretty simply read that the War of the Kingdoms event is split in 4 phases. The first phase is going to last half an hour, and during this time you can check the enemy kingdom that you have matched with and see if there are some unbubbled players, where are your team specifically, and how you can approach the fight. After those 30 minutes have passed, the official war phase will start for the next 23.5 hours, where you can jump to the enemy kingdom for free the first time, and after the first time, every consecutive time you're going to use a random scroll or a precise transfer, depending what you are doing. And last but not least, after the war phase ends, after 23.5 hours, a 5-minute truce phase will start, where this is going to defend everybody. It will put a truce up on every castle in both kingdoms, so they're both safe until their castles are returned to the original kingdoms. After those 3 phases, which are the fighting phases, as we like to call, the last phase, which in my opinion sometimes is also a fighting phase, but it's going to be inside its kingdom. It's going to be the 24-hour diamond mining phase, which is going to be a phase where mines that they only produce diamond are going to spawn from level 1, level 2 and level 3 for the losing kingdom, and from level 1 to level 5 for the winning kingdom. So this is really important, an additional reward for the whole day for the kingdom that wins the KVK. But of course, even if you lose, getting diamond mines from 1 to level 3 level, it's not bad either. Two very important aspects of KVK is going to be how you move to the enemy kingdom. So the one way is to do a random transfer from the transfer button on the top of your screen, and the other one is to actually use a precise transfer. The first time you move to the enemy kingdom, you can move back to yours immediately, but after the first time that you move to enemy kingdom and move back to your kingdom, you're going to have a 30-minute cooldown between porting to the enemy kingdom and back to yours. You have to keep that in mind, because in case somebody attacks you or has a rally over you and you can't hide, you can move to your kingdom to be safe. But for sure, if you have the cooldown on you, you will be stuck there for 30 minutes, which is usually sometimes how people get killed and lose their troops. Last but not least, the city capture rules for KVK is completely different from the castle siege that we're used to, that happen to every kingdom. So on KVK, how you capture a city and hold it for 4 days, it's going to be who stays in the castle for the longest. So in regular castle siege in our kingdoms, it matters who is going to be in the castle when the battle phase ends. But in KVK, it's going to count for the whole time that you are in. So even if you are not the one that's going to be the last being in the castle, but you have, for example, 4 hours, and nobody else has any time on King's Landing, for example, you are going to get the castle for your alliance, even if you are not in the last second of the war phase. In order to keep War of Kingdoms interesting and not being the same every time, the developers of the game have put some special effects in its KVK. Those rotate every time the KVK ends, so every time we're going to have a different effect that happens during that KVK. Starting on the top, Lords of Light's Revival, which is usually mostly referred as Not Dead Troops KVK. Personally, I think this is the most enjoyable one from the whole series, since every troop you are going to lose or you are going to kill is going to come back after the end of the event. This is really important, since you can actually test your castle for free, test your defenses, test your solo attacks and everything against other people, and not actually get punished, since after the KVK ends you are going to get all your troops back that you are going to lose. There is a very important note here, is that you are not going to get battle tokens or bravery tokens for killing enemy troops, and the amount of merit that you're going to get is going to be reduced by 90%. So there's not going to be a lot of merit gained here, but there's going to be for sure a lot of fun. Next up we have the Lords of Light's Glory, which on this War of the Kingdoms, the amount of merit that you can get will be increased by 15%, and the number of battle tokens and bravery tokens will be increased by 50% as well. Here on this KVK, kill troops will not be resurrected at the end of the event, so you have to be careful and play more strategically in order to kill more than be killed and not lose your troops, since here there are going to be actual losses for the whole event. Of course, the increase of 50% both on bravery and battle tokens and the merit gained is a very good additional bonus for this KVK, which it makes it more and more interesting for people to fight for. Next up we have Lords of Light's Blessing, which is going to be a buff for the KVK, but this is going to be for the last phase of KVK, the Diamond Mine phase, which the Diamond Mines are going to get 20% more resources, or more diamonds in that case, after you gather them. So for example, if you're going to get a level 5 diamond mine, which is going to give you 2.1k diamonds, you're going to get an additional 20% diamonds from that, which is going to be a good additional bonus, of course, but you have to keep in mind that you have to win the KVK as well to get the best diamond mines available. Lords of Light's Gift is a very interesting buff that you can get. In this War of the Kingdoms, there's going to be a blessing raffle, which is going to be available at the duration of KVK and the Diamond Day after, and the Lord of Light will give Lords draw attempts based on the Kingdom's accumulated points. And of course, Lords from winning the Kingdom, the KVK, will get additional draw attempts, which both of them are going to be used for a specific commander that I'm going to also talk about after this phase. And last but not least, the Lords of Light's Carnival, which is the anniversary one that we have. This one I'm not sure if it's going to come back, but on this one we had the Lords of Light's Revival and the Lord of Light's Blessing. So it's going to be a no troops lost KVK plus the additional diamonds from the diamond mines, and of course there are going to be some weak defense troops appear around the map, but I think this one was strictly for the anniversary and it's not coming back. Quickly talking about the specific commander tokens that you are going to get for KVK. They're going to be used for Zea, a newer commander that had the game. It's going to be a Bowman commander, and her overall kit is going to be focused around KVK. So on max quality you're going to get a 25% boost in total attack, a 10% boost on enemy casualty rate increase, and a 10% boost on allied casualty rate reduction. This is going to be, of course, a great additional stats that you're going to get only during KVK. This is very important to remind to everyone. And of course, with Her Awakening, you're going to get some additional stats for the KVK event, so total attack, total health, and total defense. And as you're going to get here 4-star ability, you're going to have an additional passive buff where the battle tokens and the bravery tokens obtained will be increased by 30%, and the number of diamonds gathered from a diamond mine is going to be increased by 100%. This is going to be a passive buff, so you don't have to use Zea in the gathering formation or the attacking formation, for example, to get the additional bonus from battle tokens and bravery tokens. In terms of the extra points that you can get, there are two versions, the solo rewards and the alliance battle rewards. So the first kind of rewards are going to be as obvious soloed, so each player can obtain those rewards, and those can be obtained by three ways: either capturing cities, eliminate enemy troops, and gather resources. So the points start from low, like 240,000, and on the last section is going to be 4,050,000 points. Those are sound a lot, but in reality they are very easy to achieve, especially if you are going to kill enemy troops or get into a castle. Additionally, there's going to be a ranking reward at the end of KVK for the best players during each event. The alliance rewards are a little bit more points, of course, since it's tied to the amount of players each alliance has, of course, so it's not going to be the same as solo rewards. But again, here there are ranking rewards as well, with valuable mountain clan chests and Zea metals. So going back to how you get your points, it's not going to be that bad. So in order to complete your whole points that I will show right now on the screen, on first look it might look that it's a lot of points, 4 million points, but in reality it's not that bad. So on the screen also I have put the amount of things that you can do in order to get your points. So starting with the fastest one, in my opinion, is that, of course, to kill enemy troops. Tier 5 troops you have to kill 100,000, for example, going to 200,000 for tier 4, 600,000 close to 700 for tier 3, 2 million troops for tier 2, and 4 million troops for tier 1s. Usually during those battles, tier 3 and tier 4 are going to be troops that you're going to see more, but also sometimes you will be able to get some tier 2, tier 1s, and hopefully some tier 5s in your battles. The next way to get your points is by putting troops in the glorious cities. There is a point difference if you put your troops in King's Landing or the other glorious cities. So King's Landing is going to award you with a lot of points compared to the other glorious cities. But for example here, per 1 million troops, I did it this way so it's easier to do math. You're going to get 500,000 of points per 1 million tier 5 troops in other glorious cities. 250,000 points per 5 minutes for tier 4 units, and about 83,000 points per 5 minutes for tier 3. Next to them I have put about the time that's going to take you in order to get your solo points. So about 40 minutes for tier 5, 80 minutes for tier 4, and 250 minutes for tier 3. The things change drastically if we're going to talk about King's Landing. Here you're going to get points much faster, and King's Landing is going to make you do your solo points in like no time for 1 million troops. you are going to get 2.4 million points per 5 minutes for tier 5, 1.2 million points per 5 minutes for tier 4s, and 400,000 points per 5 minutes for tier 3. So if you use only exclusively tier 5 in Glory City, that is King's Landing, you're gonna need 10 minutes, maybe a little bit less, to get your personal points, 20 minutes for tier 4s and 50 minutes for tier 3s. So as you're going to see, there is a huge incentive to go for the King's Landing and not the other Glory Cities. And last but not least, here we got the resources that you need to collect in order to get your personal points. As you're going to see, you're going to need about 17 million grain, 11 and 250,000 wood or stone, 8.5 million iron and 6 million gold. You can choose either or, of course you can do a combination as well, so it doesn't have to be one or the other. But for example, on the Glory City points, I didn't put the points that you gain for tier 2s or tier 1 troops, because if you have those kind of troops, you're better off just gather resources, because capturing Glory City with tier 1 or tier 2 troops is going to give you almost no points. So as you're going to see, getting your solo points is going to be very easy, especially if you are going to play around 2 hours KVK. Most of us play for longer, but if you, let's say, play for like 2 hours, it's going to be very easy to get your personal points. And when you close the game, you can just gather resources to the enemy kingdom and get some extra points as you are, for example, sleeping on not in the game. So to conclude the whole talk about KVK, as I said, is a fun favorite event, one of my personal favorite as well, since you can test your skills and try to fight the enemy kingdom, but even if you can't fight them, you can also get your points playing clever by attacking enemy gathering sites or doing a quick attack on enemy Glory City, and also of course gathering, since farmers' life matter. So this, let's not say short guide, because once again it's going to be a bit long, concludes my guide on the KVK. Of course, KVK is, as I said, a huge event, and there are many hidden things around that obviously if I want to talk about everything, it would be a video over 2 hours and every single detail. But all in all, this video talks about the core system of KVK, how it works, how to get your solo rewards quickly, and hopefully get a better ranking rewards from your friends, and be the one that is going to say that you did the best work during the KVK for a whole month. This is how we did it with most of my friends. We always fought each other who is going to be the first each KVK, and that added a very nice touch to each KVK, so everyone tried harder and harder, and that also had the outcome of winning almost every KVK I had in the last 3 years. So thanks for sticking out so long on this video, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you on the battlefield.
Hesitating, kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire, set my heart afire.